Hey guys, I'm Hellhound, and welcome to my Midnight Spook Show. I figured I'd revisit an old classic today, one of my favorite 80s slasher films, April Fool's Day, from 1986, directed by Fred Walton. This is definitely one of the better 80s slashers. I like it a lot. I think it's brilliant, and it's pretty funny too. It's got a lot of good humor, and it's has kind of a almost self-aware, almost parody-like feel. Like years before Scream did that, by the way. So yeah, it kind of makes fun of like all the all the same all the typical cliches and tropes and generic by the numbers horror occurrences that are in most genre films. This movie kind of pokes a little bit of fun at that. But anyway, the plot concerns Muffy, who's just inherited a large like mansion type house on an island. She's played by Deborah Foreman, and she invites a bunch of her like rich college friends to come over for like a get together, kind of like a party. And this is during April Fool's Day, so of course all the characters. There's I think there's like 8 main characters, 8 or 9. So they're all playing pranks on each other. There's constant pranks. Muffy has a lot of pranks set up on the island and in the mansion. There's whoopee cushions and audio tapes of babies crying and exploding cigars and drug paraphernalia and bloody sheets and weird, strange sounds here and there. But so as you expect, there's all kind of some pranks that people are playing on each other, and especially Muffy doing most of it. And so yeah, so the other characters that she invites there, among them are Kit, played by Amy Steele, best known as for her role as Ginny in Friday the 13th Part 2. I think there's also another actor in this movie that was in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, if I'm not mistaken. We also have Rob, played by Ken Oland, and I think the only other film I've ever seen him in was Leprechaun. Then, of course, there's Nikki, the token slut, and Arch, played by Thomas F. Wilson, best known for his role as Biff Tannen in the Back to the Future trilogy. Weirdly enough, me and my buddy Spellbinder actually did a Dead Level Discussions episode earlier about the Back to the Future franchise, and then I decided to review this film. I swear it wasn't planned. That wasn't intentional. It just happened. It was just a strange coincidence. It just happened to be that way. Thomas F. Wilson being in both of the movies I talked about today. But anyway, so yeah, so it's them, Arch and Rob and Nikki and Kit and a few others. I think one of them's names like Skip and Bug. I don't even remember their names. Names are important. But anyway, what happens is strange things start to happen, and they supposedly get killed off one by one. And they find dead bodies, blood, and severed heads everywhere. And it's apparent that a killer with a sharp, curved knife has been stalking them one by one. And more bodies are piling up as soon only Kit and Rob remain. And they're terrified, and they want to get to the bottom of who the killer is, and they're trapped in the mansion. There's no way off the island. And they're stalked throughout the house, discovering more and more victims, So, yeah, that's the basic premise of the movie. I think it's very clever. It does it very well. One thing I have to mention, and I won't give it away yet, is the twist ending. Actually, it's a double twist ending. I'm not going to give it away right now. We will have to talk about it at the end of the video, but I'll let you know when. I'll give you the spoiler alert, and I'll tell you when to turn the video off if you have not seen April Fool's Day yet. So yeah, this is a double twist ending, and for me, when I first saw the twist, I was a little disappointed. I was kind of let down. I was like, but I kind of knew they were going to go that route. I think it was kind of obvious. So, and I think if you watch this movie, you'll probably find it kind of obvious too. It was pretty predictable. And so I think the twist ending, or the double twist ending rather, might determine whether or not you like this film. So I will talk about that before this video is over too. But I'm not going to spoil it quite yet. This movie's not without its flaws. One thing that did bother me is like just about all the kills are off screen, and and when the only reason people are killed is when they find the bodies and the severed heads. Like there's no other way. Like they never actually show somebody being killed, really. And also there was like a few red herrings that I thought were like too obvious and kind of annoying, and characters making stupid decisions, of course. And things like that. But overall, I think this movie is very clever. It has a very sharp wit to it. Great humor. I think it was very well done. Very well acted too. Everybody's really believable. Amy Steele and Thomas F. Wilson, of course, and Catherine Deborah Foreman, who plays Muffy. I couldn't think of her name. And also Deborah Goodrick, who plays the slut Nikki. How come every... yeah, that's right. Another slut named Nikki in an 80s slasher film. How many of those are there? I swear. But geez. But yeah, but overall, I think this is a very good movie. Very well done, and and as I said, it's kind of self-aware. It's kind of pokes fun at other movies that were popular at this time. This was '86. This was kind of getting to the later, the end of the decade. Going into it. So there had already been several slasher films by this point, and they all kind of followed a typical formula, and complete with all the same old format and tropes. And so this movie kind of was a parody of that. Alright, I guess I need to talk about the twist ending, or both of them, for that matter. And so if you haven't seen this video, stop the video. I mean, if you haven't... Oh my god. Why do I keep saying these things? If you haven't seen this movie, April Fool's Day, stop the video now. Mega spoiler alert. Okay, you ready? Stop the video now if you don't want me to spoil it. You have been warned. Okay, so it turns out at the end, Kit and Rob discover that the one doing all the killing is supposedly Muffy's evil twin sister, Buffy, who escaped from the mental asylum, and she's been posing as her sister Muffy through the whole film. They discover her severed head in the cellar. There's a really cool scene I forgot to mention, by the way. It's like at the bottom of the well in the water, there's all kinds of dead, severed heads floating, and then a dead body. But anyway, so yeah, they discover that Buffy's the one doing the killing. She stalks them. She chases them around the house. Rob gets trapped in a kitchen, I think, like a pantry, and Kit, played again by Jenny Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2, as I said, runs into the living room, finds all the characters who had died just sitting there chilling, just sitting in the living room, looking around, drinking beer, just kind of sitting around reading. She's just like, and she's shocked. And then, then Buffy comes behind her, shows her that the knife was a fake, one of those retractable blades, and she reveals that Buffy never even existed. It's been Muffy the whole time. There is no killer. Nobody died. All these people are still alive. One of her friends, one of the guys, people was one of them was her actual twin, who's a man, a boy, a male. Posing as her cousin, and another guy is actually a special effects artist who had all these severed prop heads for a movie that he worked on, and he just retooled them to look like all their friends from photographs. And so nobody actually died. It was all fake blood, fake heads, fake special effects. No one died. So you really can't call this one a slasher film after you've seen it. So so I've always had trouble considering this a slasher when nobody actually dies. And then and so then Rob finally he runs into another guy who has the one from the, I forgot to mention, the boat when they're going to the island. There's an accident and his face got mauled. And now this guy had a fake prop, like a bloody eyeball, and he peels it off and throws it at Rob. Rob screams and screams and screams. Pretty over the top hysterical moment where he keeps screaming. Then he runs to the living room too and finds Kit, who's now in on the joke, with all the other people saying April Fool's is all a big prank. Nobody died. It was all special effects. Muffy played this prank on him. She's planning on turning the house into a resort, to a horror, haunted funhouse type thing, complete with realistic special effects and stuff. And I guess she was just testing them because all the money she inherited or whatever. So yeah, so nobody actually died. It was all a big joke, a big prank. But it's made pretty believable, But the thing is, I said I thought it was obvious, and it really was, because, as I said, all the kills were off screen, and they just found the dead bodies, and I thought that was obvious. I was like, okay, we never actually saw anybody die, so I think that it's all a prank. It's called April Fool's Day. I bet they're playing an April Fool's prank on the audience too. So I saw it coming from a mile away, and when I first saw this movie, I was kind of let down that they went that route. But now I think it's brilliant. I think it's genius. I think it was a good way to go. It is a really fun way to poke at the horror genre. And then so after that aftermath, the big reveal, everybody's all laughing it off, and Ginny and not Ginny. Amy Steele's character Kit and Rob are so mad, they're just like, nobody ever say April Fools again. One of the guys in on it was Buffy's uncle. They're all I don't know, it was all a big gag. And some of them even found out, some of them were were good sports about it, they found out as they were killed, they were, let on the joke. So it all really went to plan. It had to be perfectly planned out, and Buffy's a genius for doing all that. And so yeah, this movie has no real deaths, no real on-screen deaths. Nobody actually dies, and there's no nudity either, which is very uncommon for a film of this ilk. So, and then there's a double twist ending. Right after that, I already spoiled the first twist. I might as well spoil the second one either. If you don't want the final scare spoiled, then turn the video off once again. A drunk Buffy goes upstairs to find a Jack in the Box, which was which actually played a part in one of the earlier pranks in the movie. And as she opens it, her throat is slit by Nan, one of the people that she took her acting classes with. Then it turns out just a fake blade. It was a blood pump. Her throat wasn't really slit, and Nan laughs at her, and they both laugh and say April Fools. But the only real supernatural, real horrific thing happens when the Jack in the Box winks right before the end credits roll. So I don't know what that was. I guess you're just saying, April Fools, So there's not going to be, there's not going to be like a sequel, like Killer Jack in the Box or something stupid like that. This is a standalone. I guess it was remade in 2008. But I think that movie was just another horror movie with the same title. I mean, April Fool's Day, that's a common title that can be used, Like anybody can name their movie that. It doesn't really mean it's a remake, even though it probably is. But let's just pretend it doesn't exist. Because this movie's genius. I think it's really good. I get it like a well-deserved 8 out of 10. Even though it's not really technically a slasher film because nobody dies and there's no nudity and it doesn't really follow the same tropes and cliches. It more kind of makes fun of them and kind of spoofs them rather. But yeah, it's a very good movie. I would definitely recommend it. You should definitely see April Fool's Day, slasher film or not. No actual deaths. And I'm sorry if I spoiled it, but I did warn you. But yeah, directed by Fred Walden. Nothing really great as far as the cinematography goes or anything. There's some parts where people are like filmed a video themselves, saying this girl saying I'm real good, in bed, and then she's dancing and stuff, and stuff like that. People goofing around, and it was cool seeing Thomas F. Wilson in a movie other than the Back to the Future films and playing a role other than Biff, which I'm sure he's probably sick of hearing about that. It's probably refreshing to do something else. Even though this is before parts 2 and 3. This is in '86, so just a year after Back to the Future. For more info on Back to the Future, see the earlier video I did, the Dead Level Discussions episode, the Back to the Future trilogy discussion. But anyway, yeah, I guess that about sums it up. That about wraps up April Fool's Day. Definitely one of the better 80s slashers. Great film, one of my favorites. I figured I'd revisit it today and let you guys know what I thought. It's been a long time coming. I should have reviewed this probably a long time ago, but hey, what can you do? There's so many movies I haven't got to yet, so glad to have this one. Glad to have covered this one. Such an awesome, iconic cover, too. I just love that. It's very cool. But yeah, I think that about does it. I think I just about covered it all. I think I mentioned everything I wanted to mention. And this movie does have some good scares, some genuine suspense, even though, it all leads up to everybody who's actually alive. And well, I kind of like that, though. It was kind of cool how everybody was, like, in on it, and it was just a joke, and they were all alive, nobody actually died. It's kind of fun, kind of fun that way. It's kind of happy. It's a happy ending, I guess you could say. Kind of more upbeat, more lighthearted horror, So, so yeah, once you've seen it, I think you'll be I think you'll be pleased. So I recommend you go out and see it right now, even though I've spoiled it for you already at this point, if you're still watching the video. Alright guys, I'm Hellhound. I'm going to stop rambling now before I, end up making this video 20 minutes long with my constant, tangents. I tend to talk an awful lot. I apologize for that, but I guess I love hearing myself talk about horror films. I can talk about horror forever. Like when it comes to horror, I'll never shut up. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Alright guys, I'm Hellhound. Until next time, and don't let anybody play any pranks on you. I probably should have waited till April Fool's Day to review this, but oh well, who cares? I reviewed Silent Night, Deadly Night, and My Bloody Valentine when it wasn't December or February, respectively. Oh, okay, I'm going to shut up now. I'm still talking. Alright, guys, I'm Hellhound. Peace.